We are excited to have you here today. We're going to talk about developing your resume. My name is Alison Goodwin, and there we go. So my name is Alison Goodwin. I am the Assistant Director in the Professional Development Center at the Fogelman College of Business. And if you guys ever have questions, or you need, if we go over anything today and tomorrow you think about something and you have a question, just feel free to send me an email, and I'll be glad to try to assist you however I can. And if you're not in the Fogelman College of Business, so I'm going to talk about a little bit about how we format our resumes and the format for the students in the Fogelman College of Business. And so if you're not in the Fogelman College of Business, your format might be a little bit different, but we're going to still just go over the structure and kind of how the resume should be laid out. So the goal of your resume is to summarize your experience, your skills, accomplishments in order to land an interview. And you want to do that in one page. If you keep getting called back for interviews, but you're not getting the job, there's probably something happening in the interview process and probably is not going to be your resume. So there might be, if that's the case, then you might want to try to either reach out to Career Services, or if you're in the Fogelman College of Business, reach out to me and we can schedule mock interviews. And a lot of times those are really, really helpful for students. So again, I mean, if you keep getting called back for the interview, but you're not getting the job, more than likely it's not going to be the resume. So getting started, we have a great resume packet. It's on the website. If you go to www.memphis.edu/professional, then you can click on the students, and then there's resume assistance. We have several different templates to choose from, and also at the very bottom of that page, you can find the resume packet. The resume packet is filled with great information for developing your resume and getting all your information in order and making sure you're not leaving anything out. You want to list all of your information in reverse chronological order. You want to make sure you put down any training, certifications, volunteer work, extracurricular activities, all of those kinds of things. In addition, you should also review the job description for the dream job that you want, the job that you're looking for, and the job that you desire to have. See if there's any keywords or key skills that you can pull out of that and use for transferable skills in your own resume. And again, you want to make sure it's one page. We do have exceptions, you know, if you're a graduate student or if you have extensive experience, then you might go on to 2 pages. But if you've had less than 10 years of experience, I would recommend sticking to a 1-page resume. Employers will only take 7 to 30 seconds to review your resume, so you want to make sure that information is highlighted and it's right there, the first thing that the employers can see. And so it's important to make sure, again, that it is 1 page, unless, like I said, you have that extensive experience. And if you have that extensive career experience, or even if you're a graduate student and you have extensive research experience or something to that effect, you might go on to 2 pages. So this is our webpage. I have a link I can send out to you guys, but this is the webpage of the University of Memphis under www.memphis.edu/professional, and then you'll go into resume assistance and you will find this page. And at the top of this page, you will see 2 other versions, and they're called the tips versions. Those 2 versions, they're not editable. There are PDFs, and so they have additional sections in there that you can customize and add additional sections to your resume if that information is valid to you. Now, these are all of the different templates down here. Like if you were to get to that page, these templates at the bottom that you see on the screen, these are all downloadable and they're editable. And so if you're in the business college, we recommend that you download one of these templates, save it as your own template, whichever one best fits you, save it as your own resume, and enter your information directly into the template. This keeps the sections, the alignment, fonts, all that good stuff in the correct format. And you can see at the top, Standard A and Standard B, they are the two most common templates used. Standard A is if you've had more experience on campus and more involvement on campus and less work experience. However, if you have a mixture of both, I would recommend doing Standard A. And we'll go over both of those versions in a minute, and you guys can see the difference. Standard A, you're able to highlight that campus involvement as well as your work experience. Standard B is if you've had more work experience and less involvement on campus, and just kind of go straight into your work experience. If you are a graduate student, you want to use Graduate A or Graduate B. It just shows you how to list both degrees on there. And again, you could go through these, and I think you could eliminate several pretty quickly if they don't fit you or fit what you are in school for. And again, you see that resume packet in the very bottom left-hand corner. On the bottom right-hand corner, if you were on the web page, you would see a cover letter template as well. And so again, you have to scroll to the bottom of the page to find the downloadable, editable resume templates. This is template A, but this is the annotated version. This is not the editable version. This is the version that has the additional sections in there that you can add to customize for your own experience. If you know more than one language, I absolutely highly recommend that you put that in your resume. It gives you a competitive advantage. If you have certifications, you can put that in your resume. If you are a US citizen and there's no sponsorship required, you can put that in your resume as well. We also have the computer skills section. All of these are additional sections customizable for your own experience. The computer skills section is if you have advanced computer skills. I don't recommend putting that on there if you know Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. Those are common ones, and those are things that we should know. And again, you don't want to take up space on your resume to put that you know those items. But again, if you know different languages and you have those advanced skills, then that might be a section you want to consider adding. And then there's the college leadership activities and honors. That's part of version A that would be on either template. I mean, not either template, I'm sorry. That's one of the differences between version A and version B. But that college leadership activities and honors section, I tell students all the time, and I also recommend that they change from version B to version A if they are able to add at least 3 or 4 things under college leadership activities and honors. Again, it highlights that experience, and it's one of the first things the employers see. And so they're able to see that you've not only been involved in on-campus activities, but you've also had a job as well. You can see the relevant coursework section down there at the very bottom. This is a section that if you feel that would be important, you can highlight your upper division courses in your major. But if you are about to go over to a second page, then that's when your relevant coursework should come off. I say that's when your relevant coursework becomes irrelevant because you've had so much experience that you need 2 pages on your resume. If that's the case, you do not need a section for relevant coursework. Also, going back up to the top, if you notice on the version A template, there is a summary of qualifications. There is a difference between an objective statement and a summary of qualifications. You want to put, your skills, that kind of thing. We recommend it's no more than 2 sentences. And you want to talk about your long-term goal. One thing that I talk to students about often is you don't want to limit yourself on that summary of qualifications. If you see the summary of qualifications there, if they put that they wanted to be a career track candidate at a private accounting firm, well, if they put their resume out there and they're looking for an internship or an entry-level position, they might not have the option of whether it's a private or public accounting firm. So again, you want to make sure you don't limit your options with your summary of qualifications. And here's version B. And again, these are the tips versions. These are not the editable versions. So if you go in and you want to download a template so that you can just enter your information and you have all of the sections and all that good stuff in the correct format, and you, like I said, download that template, you see all this red writing on it, it's not going to be the right one. You want to scroll to the bottom and download one of those templates. And then you can just highlight Michelle B. Anderson and put your information right over that, and it will keep everything in the correct format. So version B, again, it's for students that have had more work experience and less involvement on campus. These tip versions, they tell you, if you need a little bit of extra space, you can do those smaller margins where you have 1/2 inch instead of 1 inch margins. It also goes into, the font size for your contact information, and then also the body of the resume. You want to make sure you're using your U of M email address, and then also add your LinkedIn. If you guys don't have a LinkedIn, we have LinkedIn workshops, and they're very, very helpful. And you can start making those connections now. You want to make sure that LinkedIn is a live URL so that the employer can just simply click that LinkedIn and go straight to your LinkedIn page. If the employer has, 5 really strong candidates and you're one of them and you don't have a LinkedIn page, they might skip you and go right next to the next person. They can find out a little bit more information, see what they have going on LinkedIn. And so you just want to make sure you're giving yourself all of the different, advantages there. And again, if your GPA is a 3.0 or above, you want to put that on your resume. If it's not a 3.0 or above, you work really hard and try to get it up there. A lot of internships do want students with a 3.0 or above. So again, it is good to be able to put that on there as well. And for all of the information in your resume, it's going to be listed in reverse chronological order. So that means you are going to start with the most recent activity and go to the oldest, whether it was your job experience, whether it was on-campus involvement, whether it's volunteer work. Again, you're going to go from the most recent to the oldest. If you have several, maybe you're working 2 jobs, they're both present, list the one you started most recently, and then the oldest one. And same thing if it is, like I said, even if it's volunteer work or involvement on campus, if you have several things present, you want to just list the one that's most recent first, or the one that you started most recently first. And guys, if you have questions or anything, please feel free to put them in the chat box. And again, I can give you guys my email, or my email is also listed on the end too. So feel free to email me with any questions that you might have. And this is standard version A. So this is what it looks like without all the writing junk on there. And if you were to download the template and save it as your own, like I was saying earlier, you would just highlight Brittany Jones and put your information all the way down the resume. Copy and pasting does not work very well here because this is a format, and so it messes up the format quite often. But you can just, like I said, highlight her name and enter your information all the way down. And if you look at this resume, it's the format, the flow, it's pretty well prepared, and it has a very good flow to it. Here you see the college leadership activities and honors. It goes straight from summary of qualifications to your education to college leadership activities and honors. The difference between this resume and standard B is you do not have the college leadership activities and honors section there, and you do not have the summary of qualifications. But again, this version is, I guess it's probably my favorite because I feel you're able to highlight those college leadership activities as well as your work experience. And if you have a mixture of college work experience and work experience outside of college, you can take off the word college and just put work experience. And also, if you notice at the very bottom, there's philanthropy. And so any philanthropy, any volunteer work you have done, you would want to list that there. You can start either with the organization or what's your role at the organization. And so if you notice, it's literally the role, the organization, and then the year or the years that it was completed. All right, so wording matters. This is a pretty important bullet point. I know I talked quite a bit about the format and alignment and fonts and all of those things. And at the end of the day, the most important part of your resume is the content, your bullet points, how you worded your bullet points. There's a big difference in maintained inventory and maintained inventory through cycle counting and ensuring availability of all products, or while ensuring availability of all products. That's telling what you did, why you did it, and how you did it. And so anytime if you train new team members, whenever I receive resumes, because I've received them quite often, and it'll say train new team members. Well, what did you train those new team members to do? What was the purpose? So train new team members on customer expectations, company policies, and safety standards. So then it tells what you did and why you did it. You want to make sure each bullet point starts with those strong action verbs, and they all end with a period. And you can think of it like this. Every bullet point there's gonna be 3 parts to that sentence. The first part of your bullet point is gonna be that strong action verb. The second part is gonna be the action of your verb. And then the third part is gonna be your quantitative measure. Even if you do not have numerical value, you can still put what you did and why you did it. And we can look at a couple of other ones as well. And you can see these here. If you just take a moment and read some of these bullet points, and you can see the difference. I'm trying to move my, there we go. Okay. I was trying to move all of my boxes to the bottom so that I could see. And here's some more examples of quantifying those accomplishments. Whenever you can, I would definitely encourage you to quantify those. But even if you do not have numerical value, or you don't know how much you increase that annual club membership, you could say implemented a social media campaign to increase annual club membership. Because sometimes we don't always know those numbers, and we don't want to make up a number. So if you instead of just saying implemented social media campaign and stopping there, you could say implemented social media campaign to increase annual club membership. But again, if you have that numerical value and you can tell us how much you've increased annual club membership, that's great. And I highly recommend doing that. And there, like I said, there's several different bullet points here. You guys want to take a moment and read these and just see the difference. Monitored safety for up to 75 patrons in and around the pool. Let's see, by enforcing all pool rules and state regulations. Again, we could have stopped it around the pool, but then I didn't know how you did that or why you did that. Well, those are state regulations, and I enforce those pool rules. And so it's helpful to read your bullet points after you write them. Think about what you've written and ask yourself those questions. Who, why, what, where, when, or what was the purpose? Sometimes if that information isn't in there, then you might need a little bit more information in your bullet points. Another option is, and something I do recommend you do, is look up some job descriptions. Look up bullet points on other resumes to see how it's written. By no means should you ever copy and paste the information. I'm not an instructor. I'm not a professor. But I can tell you, whenever I get a resume that has been copied and pasted, I know. And I tell students that because I've seen a few, and then I know that if an employer or a recruiter get that resume, they're also going to know. So you want to make sure you customize the experience to your own experience, and you make sure you're using your own words. But it is helpful to sometimes see how it's written and how somebody else wrote it. And sometimes you can pull out stuff and you're like, okay, I did do this, or this is what I did. And it can be helpful. All right, so we have some resume do's and don'ts. Some resume do's. You want to download the template that fits you, which the template that is best for you, that's the template you download, and you want to enter your information into that template. Each bullet point, you want to start with that strong action verb to describe your work experience. And on that, the page, the www.memphis.edu/professional, you can, in the resume packet that's at the bottom left-hand corner, you can find 2 pages that are filled with really strong action verbs that you can use. You want to make sure each one of those bullets is a complete sentence and it ends with a period. All right, some don'ts. Don't mix templates A and B and combine them. A lot of times students want to reinvent the wheel and combine the templates, and it just messes up the format. So you want to make sure you choose the template that fits you best. Again, back to starting each bullet point with those strong action verbs. You don't want to start them with the adverbs, successfully completed, responsible for. Just make sure they're the strong action verbs. And each one should be, if it's a present tense job, it should be a present tense verb. If it's a past job, it should be a past tense verb. Do not rename your degree. We say use the template format. I know all of you guys aren't in the business college. Make sure you know the name of your degree. Your degree will not be Bachelor of Accounting. That's not a degree. So you want to make sure you know the degree. Small mistakes like that could cost you from landing an internship. And don't forget to proof. Again, those small mistakes, a lot of times they can go a long way. Just, missing a period or having, one job formatted one way and then the next job's formatted a little bit differently. Just make sure you read and you reread it, have someone else look at it, have someone else review it. Because you want to make sure before you send it out to an employer, you have the best resume you can have. And we don't recommend you putting your high school information on there. Now, if you held a job in high school or you did volunteer work in high school, that's a little bit different unless it's outdated. And you can add the job experience or volunteer work that you might have had, but we don't recommend that you put clubs or involvement or that kind of thing from high school. Remember, honesty is always the best policy. Again, you want to always be honest in what you're portraying in your resume. You don't want to say that you have skills that you do not. But you want to make sure you are showcasing your skill set. You want to make sure you're promoting yourself in your bullet points and in your resume. Some additional resume tools. We talked about LinkedIn briefly earlier. We do have some LinkedIn workshops coming up. I think I have a calendar somewhere. And I believe there's another one through here as well. I'm not positive. But I can send that information out too if anybody's interested in it. So, but Weebly and LinkedIn, they're complements to your resume. If you do not have a LinkedIn, I highly recommend getting a LinkedIn account. After you have a resume and it's in good format, either if it's been approved from the business college or if you've worked with somebody in career services, after that point, you can put the information from your resume into your LinkedIn account. It's really easy. I mean, you can almost copy and paste your resume and put it in that experience part of your LinkedIn. Again, it is a great way to start making connections while you're in college. Once you get out of college, making those connections, it's not as easy. You don't come in contact with as many people. And, also I tell students when we're in the classrooms, look around the room. You never know who might be, the next hiring manager for where you want to go work. Or, they might be another coworker there and they could help you get your foot in the door. So make those connections with your classmates. And if you are in an info session, if you're in an employer workshop, the career fairs, and you meet employers or you sit in on their lunch and learns, absolutely send them a connection request. Again, you just building those networks are very, very helpful. Weebly is another way to put a little bit more personality out there. It is your own personal website. Again, we have a personal website workshop as well coming up. I don't know the dates for that either, but it's a great opportunity to learn how to create that and develop it professionally. Again, if an employer has 5 candidates and they can click on one of the students' Weebly and they get a little bit more insight, a little bit more personal view of that candidate, and it they might get the job before someone else. We've actually had several students that have the Weeblys, and then the employers are extremely impressed by those Weeblys and the fact that you have the tech skills to create that Weebly. And it's really, really not that difficult once you get started on it. All right, so there's many different ways you can improve your resume. One we talked about earlier was increasing that GPA. If your GPA is a 3.0 or lower, you want to try to increase it. If possible, you can put that information on your resume, and then employers know that you have that 3.0 GPA or above. Get involved. If you can attend lunch and learn sessions, attend those info sessions, show up to the career fair, join any kind of organization that you can. I know studying abroad is on hold for the moment, but any additional extracurricular activities you can do improves your resume. The Professional Development Center, where I work, we have all kinds of opportunities, networking opportunities. We're working on different virtual options for employers as well. And it's just really helpful. I'll tell you guys a little story. So whenever I started in the Professional Development Center, I started out as contract employee and I moved up to the assistant director. Not long after I started, I met several students, and I guess probably about six to 8 months in, we had an event. It was an International Paper VIP networking event. And I went to the networking event. The students that were there, they were all hand selected from another networking event IP had. But when I went in there were 25 students in there, and I knew 21 of them by name. And it just showed me that those were the students that were taking advantage of the Professional Development Center. Because again, I'm not a professor and I'm not an instructor. So the only way I knew those students were the fact that they came into the Professional Development Center and took advantage of our resources. And those were the students that were selected for the VIP event. So that was pretty impressive there. So this is for the business college. If you are not in the business college, your career services in your college, you can work with them to get your resume, and you can work with them to get your resume in the right format. But if you are in the business college, we have the Fogelman Internship Network. And you can upload your resume into the Fogelman Internship Network. Then either when somebody from our department will review it, at that point we'll either mark that resume approved, or we'll send it back to you with edits that need to be made. And if you land an interview, we always love to know about it. Please email us and let us know. And same thing if you get an internship, we like to know that as well. This is what Fin looks like. Again, this is for the students because it's the Fogelman Internship Network. So it's the students that are in the Fogelman College of Business and Economics. It's pretty similar to Handshake. So if you're not in Fogelman College of Business and Economics, you have the option to use Handshake. So you notice at the top, the profile, the contact information, profile information is only filled out 25 or 31%. So you want to make sure you fill all of that information out completely, because employers are able to view your profile if you select allow employer viewing. That's up to you. However, if you are in the Fogelman Internship Network, I would highly recommend that you do allow employer viewing. Though we recommend the employers post jobs, they don't always do that. And so sometimes they just want to go in and search resumes. And if you don't allow the employer viewing, they're not going to be able to find your resume. And again, that's why you want to make sure your profile information and everything is filled out completely. Because if they come to a student, or they come to your name and you've only filled it out 25%, they might skip you and go to the next. Here's a little bit more. Again, if you are in the Fogelman College of Business, this is what it looks like. And Handshake is very similar. It looks a little bit different, but the process and the procedure is pretty similar. If you notice, you can put in several different parameters for searching and finding jobs that are good fits for you, or good fit for you. You can put in different industries, job location, keywords, all that good stuff. And the other thing is, when you go to apply for these jobs, it is really quick and really easy. You can drop your resume to 5 different jobs within 5 minutes. The only catch to that is sometimes the employers, you have to look at their job description, and sometimes they do recommend, or they do want you to apply on their site as well. If that's the case, it might take a little bit longer than 5 minutes, but for the most part, it's pretty easy. It's just a click of dropping your resume after your resume's been approved. Here's some other options that we have in the Fogelman College of Business. We have the Complete Professional Program, which these are several opportunities to get involved, to network with, and it gives students the opportunity to network with these employers. Futures and Finance is a great opportunity. Accounting Careers of Tomorrow, Fogelman Women in Leadership. We try to have different women from different industries with different backgrounds for every meeting, employers in the community. Accounting Careers of Tomorrow is a great opportunity for networking with other people in the accounting field. Several employers come together to make that happen. It is a great day. And if you are in the Fogelman College of Business and you complete the top 4 out of the top 5, if you complete any 4 out of the top 5, excuse me, then you get the virtual complete, or you get the Complete Professional Program certificate. We are offering everything virtually this semester because of COVID-19, and we'll continue to offer it virtually in the fall as well. This is just a picture from ACT, which is Accounting Careers of Tomorrow. This is, if you're an accounting major, it's kind of a must-do. You definitely want to attend ACT. There's several accounting firms that come together to make it possible and to make it happen for you guys. I know that it's going to be virtual. I believe we have a planning call next week on that, and we'll have more finalized details after that. But it is a great opportunity, again, to network with other accounting majors. I think my thing was timed on there. There we go. But it's just a great opportunity, and it's a great opportunity to learn about the different accounting fields, the private and the corporate, all of those different things, and learn about other accountants' roads to success and what they've done in their journeys, that kind of thing. And that's kind of what we do. We try to get the students, depending on the majors and what's going on, connected with somebody with their major in that industry. So if you guys have questions, you can email us at professional@memphis.edu. You can also email me at alisongoodwin@a.goodwin@memphis.edu if you have any questions about the mock interview or resume assistance.